The weather was unseasonably cold for September as I climbed into our attic, armed with boxes and cleaning supplies. After 15 years of marriage, Marcus had announced he wanted a divorce, and I was determined to sort through everything before he could twist that narrative too. My name is Deanna Walker, and until 3 days ago, I thought I knew who my husband was. We met in college. He was the charming business major everyone loved, and I was the quiet computer science student who somehow caught his eye. At least that's how he always told the story. I pulled another box toward me, this one labeled Old Elektronikis. Inside was a tangled mess of cords, chargers, and outdated devices. At the bottom, I found Marcus's old laptop from his first job after graduation. "You can throw all that away," his voice made me jump. He stood at the top of the attic stairs, watching me with that new coldness in his eyes. "None of it works anymore." I clutched the laptop closer. "I'll sort through it myself, thanks." He shrugged, that familiar dismissive gesture that had become his signature move lately. "Suit yourself. Just make sure you're done by weekend. I want this wrapped up quickly." Of course he did. He'd already started telling people his version of events. How I'd grown distant, how I'd failed to support his career, how I'd changed. Our friends were already taking sides, most believing his carefully crafted story without question. After he left, I examined the laptop more closely. It was at least 12 years old, probably dead, but something made me want to check. I plugged in the charger, pressed the power button, and waited. Nothing happened. I was about to give up when I remembered something from my hardware recovery classes in college. Sometimes, even when a laptop won't boot, you can still access the hard drive. I carefully opened the case and removed the drive, then connected it to my external reader. For a moment, nothing happened. Then my screen lit up with folders. Most were empty or corrupted, but one caught my eye. BAFQ_2008. Inside was a single file, a video that had been deleted but not completely erased from the drive. My hands shook as I ran my recovery software. It took nearly an hour, but finally, the video played. The timestamp showed October 15, 2008, 2 months after Marcus started his first job at Palmer Financial. The video was shaky, clearly recorded on an old phone, but the audio was clear enough. "Just sign here, Mr. Reynolds," Marcus's voice came through. "Everything's taken care of." The elderly man in the video looked confused, but my daughter said, "Your daughter doesn't understand finance like I do," Marcus cut in smoothly. "Trust me, this is the best option for your retirement. Sign here and here." I felt sick watching it. Mr. Reynolds, I remembered him. He'd been one of Marcus's first clients, a widower with a substantial retirement fund. 6 months after this video, he lost everything in what Marcus called a market downturn. But the video didn't end there. After Mr. Reynolds left, Marcus turned to someone off camera. "Got it all?" he asked, grinning. Old man didn't even read the transfer documents. By the time anyone figures it out, the money will be long gone. "You sure about this?" another voice asked. "If anyone finds out." "Who's going to find out?" Marcus laughed. "The trades are buried under shell companies. Besides, who'd believe him over me? I'm the golden boy around here." I stopped the video, my mind racing. This wasn't just unethical, it was illegal. And if this video was from 2008, I dove back into the hard drive, looking for anything else that might have survived deletion. Most files were corrupted beyond recovery, but I found fragments, emails, spreadsheets, more videos. Each piece painted a clearer picture of who Marcus really was. He hadn't just scammed Mr. Reynolds. There were others, dozens of clients whose trust he'd betrayed, whose money he'd stolen through carefully hidden transactions, all while building his reputation as one of Boston's most respected financial advisors. No wonder he wanted that laptop thrown away. I was still processing everything when my phone buzzed. A message from Sarah, my best friend since college. Or at least she had been until yesterday, when she told me she needed space to process everything Marcus had told her. "How could you do this to him?" Her text read, "He gave you everything and you just checked out of the marriage. He's heartbroken." I stared at the message, anger building in my chest. Marcus had always been good at playing the victim, at making people see exactly what he wanted them to see. He'd done it with our friends, with his clients, probably with me for all these years. But this time, I had proof. My hands steady now, I started copying everything from the hard drive. Videos, fragments, all of it. Then I opened my laptop and began what I did best, following the digital trail. Because if there was one thing I'd learned in 15 years of marriage to Marcus, it was that men like him never stop at just one lie. This video from 2008 was just the beginning. I needed to find everything. I worked through the night, my fingers flying over the keyboard as I dug deeper into Marcus's digital history, my computer science background. The skills he'd always dismissed as cute and nerdy were now my greatest weapons. By morning, I had a clearer picture. The scams hadn't stopped in 2008. They'd just gotten more sophisticated. Marcus had built his entire career on fraud, using each success to target bigger clients, bigger accounts. He'd hidden it well, but in the digital age, nothing is ever truly deleted. I was cross-referencing bank records when I heard him coming up the attic stairs again. "Still at it?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe. "You know, Diana, this would be easier if you just accept that it's over. Sign the papers, take the settlement I'm offering, and we can both move on." I looked up at him, seeing him clearly for the first time. The charming smile, the confident stance, it was all part of his act. Had I ever really known him at all? "I need more time," I said carefully, "to process everything." He frowned slightly. "There's nothing to process. We're done. Unless," his voice took on a harder edge, "you're planning to make this difficult." I thought about the evidence sitting on my encrypted drive, about all the lives he'd ruined while building his perfect facade. "No," I said quietly. "No difficulties. I just need a few more days." He studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Fine. 3 days. Then I want those divorce papers signed." After he left, I pulled out my phone and called the one person I knew could help me make sense of everything I found. "Mike, it's Diana Walker. I know it's been years, but I need your help. It's about Marcus." Mike Chen had been my study partner in our advanced encryption class. Now he was a forensic accountant specializing in financial fraud. If anyone could help me understand the full scope of what Marcus had done, it was him. "Send me what you have," he said after I explained. "And Diana, be careful. Men like Marcus, when they realize they're about to lose everything, they get dangerous." I looked at the attic window, watching Marcus drive away in his expensive car, bought with money stolen from people who trusted him. "I know," I said, "but he's not the only one who can play a long game." I had 3 days before he expected those divorce papers signed. 3 days to unravel 15 years of lies. Game on, Marcus. The next morning, I sat in Mike's downtown office, watching his face as he reviewed my findings. The sun was barely up, but I'd been too wired to sleep. Every hour brought new discoveries, new layers to Marcus's deception. "This is," Mike shook his head, scrolling through the documents I'd recovered. "Diana, do you realize what you've uncovered here?" The video was just the beginning. These transactions, the way he structured everything, we're looking at millions in fraud. I nodded, clutching my coffee cup. "I know, and that's just what I found so far. There has to be more." "There is." Mike turned his monitor toward me. "Look at these patterns. The money doesn't just disappear. It moves through a series of shell companies before ending up in offshore accounts. Very sophisticated. Very illegal. Can we trace it?" He nodded slowly. "With time, yes. But Diana..." He paused, his expression serious. "This isn't just about your divorce anymore. This is major securities fraud. People's lives have been destroyed." "I know," I said quietly. "That's why I came to you. I need to know what to do next." Mike leaned back in his chair, thinking. "First, we secure everything you found. I'm going to bring in some colleagues, people I trust to specialize in this kind of fraud. Then we build the case properly, and Diana?" His voice softened. "You need to be very careful. Marcus can't know you found any of this." I thought about Marcus's face in the attic, that flash of something hard in his eyes. He won't. I've gotten pretty good at playing my part. Over the next 48 hours, I lived a double life. During the day, I played the role of the soon-to-be ex-wife, sorting through belongings and avoiding Marcus's cold stares. But at night, I worked with Mike and his team, piecing together the full extent of Marcus's crimes. The numbers were staggering. Over 15 years, he'd stolen more than $12 million from various clients, always careful to target those least likely to fight back. Elderly retirees, recently widowed spouses, people who trusted his charming smile and seemingly perfect reputation. "He's good," one of Mike's colleagues admitted as we reviewed another set of transactions. The way he layered everything, using legitimate investments to hide the fraudulent ones. If you hadn't found that video, this might never have come to light. But I had found it, and now there was no going back. The morning of the third day, when I was supposed to sign the divorce papers, I woke up to find Marcus sitting in our kitchen, a stack of documents in front of him. "Time's up," he said pleasantly, sliding the papers toward me. "Let's get this done." I sat down across from him, studying his face. The man I'd married, or thought I'd married. Somewhere in there was the college student who'd once brought me coffee during late-night study sessions, who'd promised to love me forever. "Before I sign," I said carefully, "I want to talk about the settlement." His eyes narrowed slightly. "We've been through this. The prenup is clear. You get the house and a monthly payment. More than fair, considering." "Considering what?" "Considering you've contributed nothing to my success," he said, his mask slipping just a bit. "I built everything we have, Diana. My career, my reputation. Your lies?" The words slipped out before I could stop them. He went very still. "What did you say?" I took a deep breath. "Keep calm," I told myself. "Don't show your hand yet." "Nothing," I said quickly. "Just thinking about how things turned out." He relaxed slightly, but I could see suspicion lingering in his eyes. "Sign the papers, Diana. Then we can both move on." I picked up the pen, my hand steady. "You're right. Time to move on." I signed my name on each marked line, watching his satisfaction grow with each signature. He thought he'd won, thought he'd managed to discard me as easily as he'd discarded all those clients he betrayed. "Perfect," he said, gathering the papers. "I'll have my lawyer file these today. Don't worry about moving out immediately. Take a few days to pack." He stood up, straightening his expensive tie. Always the perfect picture of success. "Oh, and Diana," he paused at the door. "I know this is hard, but you'll thank me someday. You and I both know you're not cut out for the kind of life I need to live." I waited until I heard his car pull away before pulling out my phone. "Mike," he signed, just like you said he would. "Good," Mike's voice was grim. "Because we're ready to. The FBI is very interested in everything we found." The next part happened exactly as we planned. While Marcus was at his office, probably congratulating himself on managing such a clean break, federal agents were executing search warrants at every location we'd identified. His office, his storage units, even a secret apartment he maintained under one of his shell companies. I was sitting in our living room when I heard cars pulling into the driveway. Through the window, I watched Marcus get out of his BMW, only to be met by FBI agents. His face, when they showed him their badges, was something I'll never forget. "Marcus Walker," one agent said clearly, "we need you to come with us. We have some questions about your business practices." He looked up at the house, his eyes meeting mine through the window. In that moment, I saw the realization hit him. The understanding that his carefully constructed world was about to crumble. I held up the old laptop so he could see it. The aftermath was both faster and slower than I expected. The evidence was overwhelming. Not just what I found on the laptop, but everything Mike and his team had uncovered once they knew where to look. Marcus's entire career had been built on fraud, each success enabling bigger crimes. Within weeks, the story was all over the financial news. "Respected advisor charged in massive fraud scheme," the headlines read. Former clients came forward, each with their own story of trust betrayed. The man who'd spent years building a reputation as Boston's golden boy was revealed as nothing more than a sophisticated thief. Sarah, my former best friend, called me crying. "Diana, I'm so sorry," she sobbed. "I should have known, should have believed you." "Yes," I said quietly, "you should have." I didn't tell her about the laptop, about my role in exposing everything. Let her think it was just luck or karma. Some friendships, once broken, can't be repaired. 6 months later, I sat in a courtroom watching Marcus being sentenced. He pleaded guilty, hoping for leniency, but the judge wasn't feeling merciful. 20 years in federal prison, plus restitution to his victims. He looked old suddenly, stripped of his expensive suits and carefully maintained image. As they led him away, he glanced back at me one last time. I met his gaze steadily, remembering all the times he dismissed me, belittled my career choices, treated me like I was somehow less than him. The quiet computer science student who'd never quite fit into his perfect world had brought down his entire empire. After the sentencing, Mike found me outside the courthouse. "You okay?" he asked gently. I thought about the question. Was I okay? My 15-year marriage had been a lie. My husband was going to prison. Most of our friends had abandoned me when the truth came out. But I was free. Free from the subtle manipulation, the constant feeling that I wasn't good enough. Free to be myself again. "Yes," I said finally. "I think I am." A week later, I sold the house. The proceeds, along with everything else Marcus and I had owned, went into a fund for his victims. I kept only what I'd brought into the marriage and what I'd earned through my own career. I found a small apartment near the tech company where I'd recently accepted a position as head of cybersecurity. The irony wasn't lost on me. My cute computer skills had turned out to be far more valuable than Marcus's financial genius. Sometimes, late at night, I think about that old laptop in the attic, about how close I came to throwing it away without checking. One small decision had changed everything. But mostly, I think about the lesson I learned from all of this. The truth has a way of surviving, of waiting to be found by someone willing to look deep enough. Marcus had spent 15 years building his lies, but in the end, he'd forgotten one crucial detail. In the digital age, nothing is ever truly deleted. Not files, not fraud, and certainly not the truth. I keep the laptop now, cleaned up and restored. Not because I need it anymore. All the evidence is with the FBI, but as a reminder that sometimes justice comes not from dramatic confrontations or public accusations, but from quiet persistence and the willingness to dig deeper than anyone expects. Marcus had always underestimated me. He'd seen what he wanted to see, the quiet wife who would accept his lies and play her part in his perfect life. He never understood that sometimes the quietest people are the ones you should watch most carefully, because we're the ones who see everything, who wait patiently, who know that the truth, like deleted files on an old hard drive, is always there if you know where to look.